Hello everybody and welcome back to Grand Bazaar. It is the 19th day of spring today, and this brings us to another Bazaar day. There are a lot of excellent goodies at today's Bazaar, and I'm going to be focusing more on purchasing than I am on selling. But going to the bazaar just to do a bit of shopping is going to be a very short video. So I figured we would just do a little bit of cooking, a little farm update, a little bit of everything here today. So we'll start by just having a look at the farm, and there is not much new that I can tell you all. I've restarted my asparagus field in my lower field. I've been constantly churning out turnips and potatoes, and I also have some cucumber here growing. And my trees are slowly maturing. I'm really hoping that those trees are going to be big enough to mature in the summertime, because that will allow us to get some of the fruit that's going to come off of these. Just kind of patiently waiting in the meantime, and my tea tree has also been giving me leaves constantly, which I've been turning into canned. And the only crop that I'm having to really use fertilizer on at all, aside from all of my trees, is my cucumber. My cucumbers are fairly low quality, they're only at 2.5 stars. But everything else here, potatoes, turnips, and asparagus, are all max quality. And that has saved an enormous amount of time. It makes my life so much easier. And then I'm still continuing to grow summer crops down here in the basement. I've got a pretty good selection going on in my storage right now. I've got lots of tomatoes, lots of corn, lots of turnip. I do have some potatoes outside that I am able to harvest, and I've got lots of cucumber as well. Definitely need to use some of this up, and we're gonna do that today when we do some cooking. And then in the barn, the dogs do a pretty good job of herding the animals outside. It's just that I have so many animals. I find that they're able to get out about half of our cows and our sheep, whereas the cats have a little bit of an easier job because there's not as many chickens. But it doesn't matter. All of the animals are stress-free, happy, giving me lots and lots of product, so it's not an issue at all. And we can also see that we have these new black eggs sitting in these nests. Now, this is the product that your silky hens will give you. They are appropriately named black eggs. They are worth more than a regular egg. And there are also some very specific recipes that you can only use black eggs for. And because I have so many animals now, they are going through feed like crazy, and I'm just having to watch that whole situation very, very closely, but it's not an issue. Food is very, very cheap to supply to the animals, especially when you consider the return that you get off of what they give you. So these are what the silky chickens look like as opposed to the regular chickens, and they are all just hanging out very happily with everybody else. And then the only other thing that I did here on the farm is that I changed out some of my wonderfuls. The green one that I purchased last time, I've put into the windmill here on my farm. And this allows me to make up to 12 items in the windmill rather than the usual 6 that the game allows by default. Putting the green wonderful into this windmill was a no-brainer for me, and it's been very, very useful because I've got lots of stuff that I load into this windmill. All of my tea leaves, which come every couple of days. I also make things for cooking, yogurt, cheese, butter, and the works. And because I have so many different cows and they provide me with products at so many different quality levels, sometimes this windmill can get really, really overloaded. And I also like to make fertilizer. So I always find it difficult to make what I want in this windmill. But now that I have 12 spaces, I have lots of options for what it is that I can make, and I have lots of room left over. And the other great thing about that is you gain 6 free inventory spaces, basically, because if we leave the items in here that have a freshness level, as I've discovered, they do not degrade in freshness at all. So I can take out things like my tea cans and my fertilizer if I start to run out of space, but I can leave the yogurt, the cheese, the butter, all of those things that I make in here until I need them, and that will save me some inventory space as well. And in our other windmill, where we make all of our seeds, I took out my orange wonderful and I swapped it once again for the blue one. The orange one was great in the wintertime because it allowed me to make huge, huge quantities of grass seeds. And there wasn't much else for me to make in the wintertime because I wasn't able to grow anything and we didn't have any wildlife or anything like that. So our options were very limited, and we could also churn out seeds a lot faster because we were able to get assistance from the storms that we got during that time. But I'm finding now that the weather has changed, we can make things like bottled walnuts. We can make perfume because we have access to flowers again. And I'm also growing a variety of items. And I want those seeds quickly so that I can replant things in my field. So having a windmill that churns things out a lot more quickly is very, very helpful. The orange wonderful is just sitting in my storage right now. I don't have a use for it at the moment. And before we head on over to the bazaar, I'm going to finish things off at the house here by doing a little bit of cooking, I think. Now, my inventory does have a lot of items in it, and the reason for that is off screen I am going to be selling some of these items for the sake of inventory management. I absolutely cannot help myself. I keep picking up stones and branches and turning them into things like material stone and lumber. And for the life of me, I can't understand why I do that because I don't need to. It's not really used for anything anymore. And they don't sell for anything. So I'm going to sell some of these items that are just kind of taking up space. I've got a few other things in here like these bottled walnuts, which are starting to degrade in freshness, along with this pumpkin oil, and then also some fish that I couldn't figure out what to do with. I do have a few spaces and I should be able to do a little bit of cooking with that space. There's only a few recipes that I would like to make today. They're all pretty simple and straightforward, and this should also help us clear up a little bit of inventory space. The first thing that I'm going to start with is combining some of my bread with a cucumber and some tomato. And that is going to give us a sandwich. I remembered to make this. I had mentioned it in a previous video when we saw it at Joan's store that I was going to pass it up because I could easily make a more high quality one at home. So there you have it. This is the perfect season for me to do this in because I've started to grow cucumbers again. Our cooking rank went up. I wouldn't exactly call myself a head chef. I think that's a little generous. However, we are filling out the recipe book slowly but surely. Most of these categories are not looking too shabby now that I've had a second glance at it. So let's add a few more to the book, shall we? I now have access to potatoes, which I was having an issue with when I was trying to cook a couple of videos ago because there's just so many recipes that use potatoes. I have managed to buy a few of those recipes along the way though, so I don't think it's as dire of a need anymore, but we're going to create a new recipe by combining potatoes with some flour and some oil, and that is going to give us some potato pancakes. They look delicious, and it kind of sounds like it's something that you could eat at any time of the day. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And now that we have those black eggs, let's go ahead and make the two recipes that I have at the moment that use black eggs specifically. You cannot substitute regular eggs into these dishes because you will get a different result. The first is just putting a black egg in on its own, and that will give us a soft boiled egg. And then we're going to take it just one step further. This is another very, very simple dish. We're going to put the oil in first, and then we are going to add the black egg. And I'm going to make a few of these. Let's make 5 of them. This will give you a dashi egg. And I'm kind of curious for what these are going to sell for. I'm going to kind of keep my eye on what I could possibly get from these, because this is something that I could potentially make in bulk, because I'm going to have a decent supply of black eggs and I can get oil really at any time from Chen at the bazaar. And at this time I only have one more recipe. There will be a couple more to cook later on in the future, but there are a few things I just didn't prepare for this video. So we'll use up the last of our bread, our last 2 pieces of bread, and we will combine it with some butter, and we will get a butter roll, which is really just a croissant, isn't it? Only 4 new recipes today, but I think that's at least something. All very simple, straightforward. And it is now 4 p.m. So I should head on over to the bazaar. And we want to make sure that we've got enough inventory space so that we can do some shopping at the bazaar. I've put away most of the food that we made, and I think I'm good with what we've got here. I also brought a few coins along in my inventory so that we can try our hand over at the Lucky Lotto. And then I've got the lower quality bronze coins that I could also potentially sell just to clean out the inventory. And now that I'm here, we should start with Claire, I suppose, and move counterclockwise. That kind of seems to be what I do on most days. And unfortunately, Claire only has one new recipe for us today, which is an egg rice bowl. I will pick up my usual 10. But at least she's got something new. She has been teaching us a lot, apparently. And here is the Super Lucky Lotto. I haven't played this at all since it came to the bazaar, and so I figured this was a good day to do it. This is where we can earn some really rare prizes because it doesn't use money to play. We're going to be using the various coins that we pick up. We can use 1 gold coin, 3 silver coins, or 5 bronze coins to play. Unfortunately, we cannot use regular coins, which would be great because I have, I think, 90 of them right now. The grand prize is a rare item that you can't get anywhere else. Yes. Grand prize is fantastic, but there are also some pretty good prizes along the way. 6th place, which I think is dead last. We wasted an entire gold coin to get ourselves some scrap metal, which is very disappointing. It's all luck of the draw. There's no guarantees, unfortunately, and we are doing terribly. You can get all sorts of gems from playing the Lucky Lotto. We can win diamonds. The top prize is the magic water, which is Amiko's favorite gift. And I believe it also increases your max stamina permanently. 4th prize, see, we'll get ourselves a gem. I think most of the prizes, except for dead last, are fairly decent. 5th place. See, and we still get a fluorite for 5th place, which is not bad and is sure as hell a huge step up from just getting an old piece of scrap metal. I didn't bring that many gold coins with me, so that was it. We only had a few to play with. So I figured I would just give that a try while we were here. And then Lloyd is finally selling gold, but it took a lot of intervention on my part to have him sell this. I had to constantly manipulate my bedtime. I had to keep moving the clock forward by a minute or two and sleeping before Bazaar Day to get his inventory to change. And in an ideal world, we would also be able to buy some silver from him. But he doesn't have it today, and I'm not going to screw around trying to get him to sell both. I'm just going to take what I can get. I'm going to just buy the gold, and I'm going to buy 10 of them. I can afford it, and then I don't have to worry about running out. it will take me quite a significant amount of time to get through 10 pieces of gold because jewelry does take so long to make. And then Nelly is selling 3 unique items, and I want all of them. But unfortunately, my emulator has been acting up lately and it's been freezing. And every time I've tried to go to her store today, my game has frozen. So I'm going to be loading a save state later on where I was able to buy her items, and we'll go over these 3 items that she has for sale at a later time. And Joan, I will be able to buy some party cake from glitch-free. It's the only item that we don't have. There is another recipe added to our recipe book. And then finally, over at Enrique's amazing animal stand, I noticed that there is another coat color variety for cats. And I honestly didn't think that there were any more colors left. I thought that that was going to be it for our cats. So I was very happy to see this, and I'm going to buy myself another cat. And at this rate, I might have to buy myself another chicken. Another couple of chickens, because the cats are definitely very efficient in herding all of the chickens, and I don't think the cats that I have really need any more help. But I'm gonna do it anyways, just to get that beautiful and unique coat color. And that is it for all of our shopping at the bazaar today, minus the items that I will showcase that Nelly will sell us. Not a bad haul. Gold was really the big highlight there. That was the big item that I had been waiting for the last couple of bazaars. So I'm just going to go ahead and load another save that I have really quick. So here I am, right before I purchased our cat at Enrique's. I saved just after I was done all of my shopping, and you can see in the top right corner that I also did all of my selling on this file. This is where I sold stuff off screen, all of that material stone, that lumber, and a lot of those trash items that I just wanted to get rid of. So that's all gone. I managed to make a little bit of a profit today. And I purchased everything. My inventory is going to look about the same, but I guess I forgot Claire's egg rice bowl, mistakenly. So I will purchase that quickly before we go, just so that everything is completely evened out. And if we go into the inventory, the 3 unique items that I was not able to purchase from Nelly, but that I have on this file, are some delicious cheese croquettes, some strawberry pie, and some rose wine in a glass. All of the items that Nelly was selling today are completely unique, and we didn't have any of them. So I'm glad that we were able to purchase these items. The strawberry pie happens to be Daisy's top tier, most favorite gift. And it's really a shame that this is locked out until year 3. You're not able to purchase this until year 3. But at the same time, it's probably something that you can make from home before you're able to purchase it. But getting flour is a bit of a pain. The cheese croquettes that I have will be a pretty good present for Freya if I just want to be an extra nice husband. But otherwise, I'm just going to hold on to all of those items, and I will stockpile them and probably sell them at our next big bazaar day in the summertime whenever we decide to have that, so we can sell more stuff. And the rest of spring is going to continue to be pretty uneventful. It will be our last bazaar day on the 26th, and that is my own personal homework to myself. I need to make sure that there's nothing I've missed that I will not be able to purchase outside of the spring season, so I'm going to look that up and make sure, because it will be my last chance, if there's anything that I should be looking out for. But we've managed to buy a lot of recipes in the spring. We've gotten a lot of really unique recipes. We picked up the Green Wonderful. I think we've been doing pretty good on keeping our eye out on all of our different goods. So I will just continue to play on from this point, and I will be taking notes and keeping track of things that I want to update you all on, that I think is important to do some updates on. Hopefully in the future we can do some more cooking. And fingers crossed that things continue to go well for me. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I hope that I will see you next time.